My name is Lucius Junius Brutus. It's a name not echo through time like Caesar or Augustus. But without me, there would be no republic. They called me a fool. But let me tell you, sometimes a fool is the most dangerous man in the room. I was born into privilege, but that privilege meant nothing under the shadow of King Tarquin, my uncle. My family, the Junius clan, was powerful. But that power came at a cost. My father and brother dared to speak against the king, and for that they were executed. I was the only one left. I learned early on that in order to survive, I had to hide my anger, my desire for revenge. So I became what they least expected, a harmless fool. Brutus, they called me. A dullard, a simpleton, it's all in the name. I let them believe it. Behind my silence, though, burned a plan. I waited, I watched, and I bided my time. Then came the moment that would forever change me, and Rome. It was not my own pain, but the suffering of another that became the catalyst for Rome's freedom. Tarquin's son, Sextus, committed a vile act. He raped Lucretia, a noblewoman of great virtue and my niece. Humiliated and dishonored, she plunged that dagger into her chest and took her own life, but not before calling us to witness her plea for justice. Lucretia's death was the spark that ignited the flames of revolution. I knew Rome could not endure another day of Tarquin rule, and I could no longer hide behind the mask. I took her bloody dagger, held it high, and proclaimed, "By this blood, I swear, never again will a king rule over Rome." That oath was not just mine, it belonged to every Roman who had suffered under tyranny. In that second, my true self was revealed. Brutus the fool was gone. I was now Brutus the liberator. I rallied the people and led them, fueled by righteous fury. Not as a warrior, not as a nobleman, but as a Roman, one of them. Word spread quickly of the king's crimes, of his son's atrocity. The Senate joined me, and together we rose up against the Tarquin dynasty. The people had had enough of tyranny, of the abuses of power. They stood with me. Tarquin and his family were forced to flee from Rome, banished from the city he had once ruled with an iron fist. Their monarchy crumbled, and in its place we built something greater, the Republic. But exile was not enough. I was chosen as one of the first consuls of this new republic. It was an honor, but also a burden. 2 consuls, elected by the people, would rule for a single year, sharing power and ensuring that no one individual could become tyrant. And I, Lucius Junius Brutus, was elected as the first consul of Rome, alongside my fellow nobleman, Lucius Tarquinius Collatinus, the husband of Lucretia. But my story does not end with the fall of the Tarquins, because Tarquin would not accept defeat so easily. He sought the help of powerful allies, raising an army to take back the throne. Worse yet, his supporters in Rome had not vanished with his exile. Even within my own family, traitors lurked. My 2 sons, Titus and Tiberius, conspired with Tarquin, seeking to restore the monarchy. I couldn't believe it. I, who had fought so hard for freedom, who had led the rebellion, now faced a betrayal that tore at my very soul. My own sons, my flesh and blood, had betrayed the Republic and me. I was forced to make a decision, the hardest test of my life, a choice no father should ever have to make. They thought their father's love would shield them. But how could I betray Rome? How could I betray everything we had fought for? Freedom must be protected, even from those we love. With a heavy heart, I condemned my own sons to death. I watched as they were executed, their lives cut short by their treason. The cries of a father's anguish echoed in my heart, but I did not falter. Rome had to come first. The Republic had to survive. Tarquin, emboldened by the betrayal of my sons, marched on Rome. He allied with the Etruscan king Lars Porsena, and together they sought to reclaim the city. I met them on the battlefield at Silva Arcia, leading the forces of the Republic. It was a bloody, brutal fight. We fought not just for victory, but for the very soul of Rome. In the chaos of battle, I found myself face to face with Tarquin's soldiers, men who fought to restore tyranny. But I, Brutus, fought for something far greater. I faced Aruns, the king's son. We charged at each other, and in that moment, I knew only one of us would leave the field alive. Our swords met, and so did our fates. He fell, and so did I. As I laid there, I knew I had done all I could. And there I saw the cost of liberty, the blood spilled, the families torn apart. I saw Rome forever changed because of my actions, and I believe it was all worth it. In the centuries to come, emperors would rise, and Rome would once again be ruled by a single man. But the ideals of the Republic, of liberty, of justice, would never truly die. I am Lucius Junius Brutus. They called me a fool, but it was my foolishness that toppled a monarchy and gave birth to a republic. And what of my legacy? History will judge me, cold, ruthless, unyielding. But let me ask you, what would you have done in my place? If my story proves anything, it's this. Freedom demands sacrifice. I gave everything to Rome. Would you